And welcome to the We Like Sportz Show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus, with my co-hosts, Keith and Casey. How's it going, guys? It was a fun-packed sports weekend. Plenty to unpack on this Monday. Got 2 NFL games tonight, Monday night. They like to do 2 games now. We got the Sunday slate. We got the college football. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited. OH, Casey, can I get an IO?
IO.
Okay.
Well, IO.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Because my Buckeyes went to South Bend, Indiana, and put
Lou Holtz in his place.
I wouldn't say a show per se, but it was a show. It was, you know what I'm saying, wait until the last minute, last play of the game. I mean, it is sports entertainment. That's why we love it. That's why we like sports, and we're glad you joined in today. And let's do this. Let's do some housekeeping. This is for Peyton Vince. Shout out to Peyton Vince. I know he got to watch that game, the Monday night game, the Pittsburgh game, and he was very happy about that. But now I can finally say this: F Pittsburgh, and we'll continue on from there. But just want to say this, guys, because we got Casey. He is in Cleveland, so the guns are closer to Northeast Ohio.
That's right.
So if you need a pre-workout, We Like Sportz Show and Titan Nutrition have teamed up. So head on over to titannutrition.net/We Like Sportz and get 10% off your order and get those guns like Casey at a 10% discount. What could be better than that? I know what could be better, maybe. Don't forget to check out the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. He's got your Snooze You Lose pick of the week that will surely add to your sports entertainment value when you have more coin in your man purse. That's allowed. You're allowed to do that. And also head on over to Official League. They got some nice lids right here.
I'm supposed to be getting my hat on Thursday. Peyton was supposed to give it to me last Thursday to wear it today, but I'm supposed to be getting it this Thursday. I should be wearing it next week if he gives it to me.
Well, that will be awesome. Check out Official League. Rock a nice hat like this. This is honoring the 1970 Sandlot Cleveland teams, and of course I'm a champion, so they're going to give me the 1970 champions of Wyndham Truckers. So congratulations, guys, 1970 champs. I mean, you know what? Keith, would you agree to this? Any kind of championship, whether it be in middle school, high school, or heck, in kind of anything softball related, hey, you got to take a championship when you can, especially in Northeast Ohio.
Exactly.
I agree. I must say, I want to touch on the Black Bookie. I want to explain since I'm in a legal state of gambling finally, the 1 week I can do it probably during the football season. Thursday night, hit $500 on the first touchdown, Ronnie Bell. Lost that $500 yesterday. So really hoping tonight.
Gamble responsibly, people. Gamble responsibly.
So hoping tonight I can get that back with 2 games tonight. I will tell you, Saturday, $500. I was this close to it again. New Mexico State was playing Hawaii at midnight. They lost by 3. The spot was 2.5. If they would have covered, I would have won. They were up 17-7 going into the 4th. Thought I had it set. Went to bed at like 2. Woke up. They lost. The other bad news was yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys see, since you're up in Ohio, so you see it a lot. Last week they had every single game with a field goal. Every team kicks a field goal on Sunday. Last week it hit. And it was plus 20,000 odds last week. Since I wasn't in a legal state, I couldn't put on that. So I waited till this week. They loaded to plus 9,000. The 2 games that lost me, I could have got $5,000 off $50. The 2 games that cost me were the goddamn Dolphins, who scored 70 points and did not get 1 field goal in 70 points. And the Chargers did not get a field goal. Every other team yesterday got one except for those 2. So if I would have hit that $5,000, this pocket would have been a little heavier than it is right now. But I was this close again. So if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all, Ed.
You bet New Mexico, Hawaii, correct?
Yes, and I had a parlay, a 6-game parlay in all 5. Western Kentucky, I had Tulsa, I had some teams you never heard of, but I was so close, but New Mexico State lost to Hawaii. 17-7 they were up and lost 20-17.
What is that number? 1-800-GAMBLE? What is it? Gambler? What is that number?
There was a system behind the bet of those. It was, I can't know the exact thing, but there was a system behind it with teams that were in a certain wind, like between 10 and 15, and they had less than 3 was a spot. I bet money line as well as a spot. They all won. All those underdogs won except for New Mexico State. I would have hit the money line and the cover if they would have won that game. So all 5 were correct except for that one.
And the mascot for New Mexico State is
Lobos.
Lobos, I think so.
It's the New Mexico State Lobos, I believe, right?
Shout out to the Lobos. I guess my thing about gambling is people gamble responsibly, and also if you're gonna bet on a college team, know their nickname maybe before you put a wager on them.
Isn't Hawaii like the Rainbow Warriors or something?
Yes.
Yeah. So I knew what I was doing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Just throwing that out there. But all right. So let's go around. Keith, obviously you watched the Ohio State Notre Dame game, and your takes on that one.
It was actually a pretty good game, for real. It's a pretty good game. But Ohio State showed me something late.
Finally.
They showed me something late. And they showed me that no matter what, if you make key mistakes against Ohio State, they will come back to beat you. Because Notre Dame should have been off the field. Was it a pass interference penalty or something? But you gotta give credit to Kyle McCord.
Ride with 6. Cleveland knows all about riding with 6. So I got to ride with 6.
I got my one jersey here too.
He made all the throws late in that game. All the throws. And I like what Ohio State did at the end. They didn't get fancy like they did earlier when they was in Notre Dame territory on 4th and inches.
Oh, with the Mecca Buka, that stretch, run that they had.
End around, yeah.
For a minute, I thought Kevin Stefanski was coaching for a minute.
We said the same thing.
Shit, Kevin Stefanski yesterday was running a couple of those end arounds and trick plays to start the game, man.
Ohio State just said at the end, we going straight up the middle. Good luck trying to stop us.
Absolutely. And then they only had 10 men. Only had 10 men on the field, so that helped.
Hey, I'll take it. Notre Dame, they're a good squad, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good victory.
But also, shout out to the Ohio State defense.
Yes.
They kept Sam Hartman in line.
Yep,
I agree.
And their running game really didn't get on track like it's been in the past few
They had the run by Travion Henderson, which they needed to get the touchdown. But I would say overall, you're right. I think they tried to do too much, like to Casey's point. They like to get to the Kevin Stefanski. They love the outside too much. Go straight up the gut with the running game and everything like that. I totally agree with that, Keith. That's spot on. Accurate. Yep.
And Ohio State neutralized Notre Dame's running game as well, too.
I thought the same thing. I thought to make them one-dimensional, keep everything in front. Their best defense was basically Notre Dame's going to run out of real estate because they were playing a bend, don't break defense. I think Jim Knowles didn't want to give up the big play. I mean, they were dominating with the time of possession, but I think Ohio State thought, you know what, they're dominating time of possession, but they're not scoring points. And I think that's what the best thing was. Casey, your thoughts on Ohio State's dramatic victory in South Bend, Indiana this past weekend?
So I'm not going to be as positive as Keith, sadly, or Ed. But the things that stood out to me in that game, that was the first real Ohio State game I watched, just because DirecTV didn't have Fox the last 3 weeks. So I'd missed it. And then with, just the times they play, I work. So I didn't get to see a whole game until this one. I've seen bits and pieces, on TV. But my thing was, to be fair, without that defense, they probably wouldn't have won that game because offensively,
I agree.
Until the end of that game, truthfully, McCord didn't stand out to me until that last drive. Right, that last drive was huge. That he came through huge with that. But throughout the game, I was worried. Now, like you said, at the time of possession, the two things that really we didn't have a good drive until that last one. Right, we kind of right. You had that big touchdown, which was huge to come out of the half.
Yep,
right, that was great. So that scored us 7, but I was worried going into that last drive that we didn't move the ball down the field really at all. We didn't have that kind of, big drive like Notre Dame had, but I think it was, like you said, Jim Knowles knew what he was doing. Because if you burnt out that time possession, they killed us the time possession, but they were 8-minute, 9-minute drives that, granted, only got 7 points. It scored their 2 touchdowns off of that, but it was such a big chunk of time that it didn't give much more time for scoring. Right. You know what I mean? So it did give up 2 big drives, but it helped us, I feel, just because it was such a big thing. The one thing that I will say is Marvin Harrison Jr., he didn't do much that game either. I think McCord wasn't really helping, but he didn't do that much. Cade Stover was huge.
Yes, and they used him in the middle of the field this time.
Correct.
For once.
Cade Stover was a big part of that game. He had probably 5 for 50 or something like that. But those 5 for 50 were big plays. And then there was that goofy ass tip play that he caught for the first down. That was third down. That could have been a touchdown. Yeah, that was a huge first down there. And the other thing was Notre Dame's run game. You watched the same play that I did. They were hyping up Notre Dame's run game. All of that. I forgot what the guys. They had 4 running backs that were big. They had that one guy who, after the fourth quarter stats, he had all these yards. If you look though, they didn't say it, but if you looked at the stat they gave, it was like 125 yards in the fourth quarter of the last 2 games or something. He got one game was like 80 yards in the fourth quarter. It was one big run he had.
Yep.
So realistically, it was like 4 games. He had 125 yards in the last 4 games in the fourth quarter, right? And all it was one game he had 80 yards. He busted a big run last week. So realistically, he wasn't that big of a, it was one big run that he had. So I don't think that but the thing was, I reminded me of the Browns with their run game, with having those 4 guys. That what I was worried about was what the Browns and Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb back 2 years ago. You would have those guys kind of swap out, and the defense would be tired in the fourth, and those running backs would be fresh because of all those guys they have. So that was like one worry. But I mean, McCord at the end, that was huge. And then the Ryan Day thing, Ohio against the world. That I think was big too. That was because personally watching that game, Ryan Day hasn't. Lou Holtz was correct. He hasn't beat a big team since he's been there, really. And that's what my other worries too was.
Well, we beat Clemson. We beat Clemson in the national
okay, but you lost, as Lou Holtz said, all those.
It's been a while.
Correct. And so Ryan Day coming up with that was huge. I think beating Notre Dame, and Sam Hartman, as Keith said, he didn't look too hot. He was the Heisman. He didn't look too great at all. So that defense, I think, was we did step up a lot this week, which is rare for Ohio State.
Right.
Because they're normally scoring a lot, and the defense isn't.
Yes, and defense is giving up. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Also, I like to bring up Notre Dame brought it on themselves. Why would you try a pass late in the fourth quarter?
Yep.
Right.
They thought they were going to play it safe with that screen, and that dude almost had 2 big plays.
Almost intercepted it and took it to the house.
Yes.
He had 2 big plays in that last drive to get us the ball back.
Yes. And it stopped the clock. It was like, I was just looking at like, wow, you going to leave the door open still?
Trying to be too smart. That's what it was.
They got it done in a big way, and congratulations to myself and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I am a Buckeye alum, and having Victory Monday, I also am a Cleveland Browns fan, so I'm loving football this weekend. Something that it's hard to get 2 wins from both teams. The Buckeyes usually get the win, but it's the Brownies that are finally going to turn it around. I think we'll talk a lot about the defense and with our special guest coming up in a few minutes. But you know what, guys? It's kind of quiet here, but I think I hear something. Casey, I know you're in Cleveland now. Do you hear that?
I think it's closer. Yeah, I hear it.
I think that. That's right.
Uh-oh.
It's time for breaking news. This is Eddie Columbus with your We Like Sportz. Breaking news. The Ohio State Buckeyes defeated the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this past Saturday, 17-14. OSU quarterback Kyle McCord led the team down the field on the game-winning drive, proving that there is a God. Unfortunately for Irish fans, that same God hates Notre Dame. The Miami Dolphins put up a whopping 70 points in their beatdown of the Broncos. The 70 points are the most in a regular season game since 1966, and the Finns could have broken the record, but head coach Mike McDaniel wanted to vape after the game and thought that a record-breaking performance would have equated into more questions and less puff time. And finally, the NFL announced the act for the Super Bowl halftime show will be USHERRAYMOND. Yeah, I got it bad. This is my confession. And this is Ed in Columbus with your We Like Sportz. Breaking news. I am excited about Usher being the.
Obviously, Ed's a big Usher fan, it sounds like.
I am a big. You know what I did there? If you noticed, I put 4 songs in that last with the.
You know what you sound like?
Yes.
You sound just like the NFL Red Zone channel every time that Travis Kelce was on
with
TV.
the Taylor Swift. I thought it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was writing Breakhead News, I thought it would be easy just to put a Taylor Swift in there and then put all the puns from the songs. But I went one better. I put Usher, because Usher part owner of the Cavaliers. So, hey, why not have that Cleveland connection right there?
Hey,
That's right.
wouldn't it be something if Usher was to do the Super Bowl and the Browns?
The Browns were in it. Yeah, let's go, Keith.
Give me some of that Kool-Aid, Keith. I'll
the
stop
Browns
over.
in Detroit.
No, give me that vape that Mike McDaniel has. Give me that. That might work. But before our guest comes on, real quick, what did you think about Prime Oregon Ducks? That coach? Any thoughts about that? Because we got to mention that as well. 2 big time games in college football. One was a close one not so close.
I mean, so you look at their wins they had. They beat TCU, right? That we talked about. That's the last time I talked about them was TCU. We'll see what they are. TCU's not ranked anymore. So that big win that they had. Was it a big win, or was it just TCU's pedigree from last year carrying over and not being the same team? That's a tough one. I watched that game. It was bad from the start. Yeah. There was no hope. Shadir Sanders didn't look like the Heisman moving up the Heisman ranks. He dropped farther down than he moved up.
They're missing Travis Hunter really bad. That team.
I don't think that was that big of a game. It's tough. I think that it's and we talked the same time we went through their schedule. They have, I think, 5 of their next 8 games are top 25 teams.
Yep. USC, I think, is coming to.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Bo Nix looked good, for Oregon, but
he's played in college for like 20 years. So
yeah, correct. There's a shot that he doesn't even. They don't even end up 500 now. If they got if Oregon's not that, they're not phenomenal. They're not Ohio State. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to gauge them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Keith, what's your take?
Think? Yeah,
what's your take on that, Keith? What did you think about the coach kind of for Oregon, kind of like clicks instead of wins instead of clicks and all that?
I don't like that, but
yeah.
To me, it was like, really? It's like, dude. And also, Deion said himself that he doesn't have everything he needs right now at Colorado. They don't have the linemen.
They're undersized.
They're undersized on the line. So, honestly, I really wasn't surprised that Oregon beat them. But when Prime does get those recruits, the big guys, then I wanted to see what Lannon says then.
Yeah, but it's tough when you're stepping on their logo before the game, and then you get your ass.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they were doing that.
It happens, but it's a learning experience for Colorado because Deion knew what he was going into in the Pac-12 now. He knew he wasn't better than Oregon, and he knew he wasn't better than USC. Hell, he might not even be better than Washington or Washington State.
Penix is, I'm telling you, Penix, Michael Penix. I'm telling you.
Because Penix wrecked shop in the Big Ten the year he was out.
Yes, right.
If you would like, I am doing a project on Michael Penix and for school. So I got all the stats on Michael Penix. He is currently leading the NCAA in passing yards this year out of all the teams. And he is, I think, on the pace he's at, if he continues to go at it, he will be like 12th all time in quarterback passing in college for a single season. Not obviously the whole, like you said, 7-year seniors he got. Just single season. And then Heisman-wise, he'd be number 3 or 4 with his passing yards if he continues at the rate that he's at. And Washington's, they're tough.
And also, you go like to Colorado's schedule, TCU's not a physical football team. Everybody knows that.
That's correct, yes.
2, Nebraska is a physical football team, but they don't have the skill horses to go. Number 3, Colorado State should have beat Colorado.
Yeah.
Mental mistakes, penalties, whatnot became their undoing, but they were physical with Colorado last week. And I think coming off that, they just came out flat in Oregon. And, Oregon blitzed them.
Yeah, I mean, I think
the pressure got to them for sure.
And honestly, Oregon might be the second most physicalist team in the Pac-12 behind Utah.
The only thing I think they wouldn't have a problem if they didn't talk such big game and they get their ass kicked. It's like Sean Payton with the Broncos. If he wasn't, 70-20, I don't know what's more embarrassing, but I would say 70-20 in the NFL. But
70 to
it's
20.
it's just tough with the it's they talk that big game and then put nothing up. It's like you said, he doesn't have the horses that he needs yet, but maybe temper
Yeah.
down that volume until you do.
Well, if he don't believe, who will believe?
I
That's
know.
true.
If he don't believe, who will believe?
But
And
every coach does believe in their
think
team, but it's
about
just not
this.
that grand scheme.
And also think about this. They had showed a clip when his sons was talking about going pro. And Deion said, y'all ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, correct.
Because he probably knew what's coming ahead. And people are trying to hype them up in the headlines and stuff like that. But you got Oregon, USC.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely right. And what we got right now? We have a special guest from the Charm City speaking about the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns coming up. We'll talk about that. So let's bring him on. What's up, my guy? Matt Trigger. Matt, I was, I was actually, when they were talking,
going on, guys?
I was trying to
The
figure out.
return.
I saw your message and then I was trying to figure out, but I'm a technological dinosaur when it comes to it, and I'm a little slow. So I apologize for that. But, better late than never. And let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens, because they had a game yesterday, and I can't lie, I was kind of happy with the results. You may not be. But so my first question to you is, what is the state of the Ravens franchise right now after that loss against the Indianapolis Colts?
We got a reality check, first and foremost. That was the biggest reality check we could have got, because the first 2 weeks was a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde for the Baltimore Ravens. We fell flat against the Houston Texans, and I think we lucked out because they had a rookie quarterback making his first career start in the NFL, and our defense played lights out. And then we had a fantastic performance against the Cincinnati Bengals. And our offensive line looked like they were in sync, with even missing Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum.
True.
Then, the offense was starting to open up a little bit. It was starting to click. We were running the ball well. Lamar's finding guys that are open downfield. The offense is looking like it's not a JV high school offense like it's been the last 4 years. So then the Colts played us the way that other teams have played us in recent years to shut Lamar down. Even though he had 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday, he didn't throw for any. He didn't throw any interceptions either, but he also had a very bad turnover in the game. The offensive line did not do a fantastic job blocking. I think they struggle with faster edge setters and faster pass rushers, because Kwity Paye is an absolute speed demon on that outside. And we got a little bit of a reality check. We got punched in the mouth early. A lot of the fans, myself included, were riding high after beating Cincinnati in Cincinnati, which is a feat. And I think a lot of us were overlooking this game. A lot of the fans were overlooking this game. They were looking on to Cleveland, on to Pittsburgh, and even onto the London game against Tennessee. And Gardner Minshew is a seasoned veteran.
Yep.
And I'm not saying he's a good quarterback or anything like that, because if he was a good quarterback, he'd be starting somewhere, not because of an injury. We fell flat. We were unprepared. And at some point, you got to look at the team as a whole. We had some very questionable clock management, lack of awareness, a lack of awareness by a lot of different players. Prime example was 2 minutes left in the game. The Coach Harbaugh doesn't realize that they put 5 seconds back on the clock, and that safety punt, he called for a fair catch, and we went 3 and out. So that opened up another situation where the defense was on the field a lot yesterday. The offense had a lot of stalling drives. We didn't sustain. Everybody's teams are known for something. The Ravens are known around the league for having one of those 15-play, 8.5, 9-minute drives that just absolutely beats down a defense at some point during the game, whether it's in the first half or the second half.
Yep, like they did against Cincinnati.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That last drive, we were on the field for 5 or 6 minutes and just leaned on them. Yep. We didn't have any of those type of situations yesterday. I'm not going to make an excuse about injuries, because injuries happen in football, and we've sustained a lot. We sustained a lot yesterday. We're going into Cleveland with Melvin Gordon as our starting running back next week.
I was going to say Melvin Gordon, maybe 5 years ago, that was good shape. But
so right now our running backs are Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake. And Kenyon Drake is an explosive running back. He played for us last year. He proved himself to be a decent running back. It was a numbers game because all of our guys were coming back healthy for the 23 season. Now his first touch yesterday, he catches the pass over the middle, takes it up the sideline, and gets tackled from behind and fumbles the ball. His first touch. And if there's anything that anybody knows about John Harbaugh, if you fumble the ball and put it on the ground, you're not seeing the field again.
What I've noticed about Baltimore, just watching their games this year, is the knock on Lamar Jackson is he can't throw. I don't think that's the case. I think your receivers can't catch. There were times late in that game yesterday where if you get that first down or whatever like that, your receivers are dropping the Duvernay or whatever like that.
Duvernay and likely
he dropped one, and I'm just like, I thought he was more sure-handed than that. And there was one in Cincinnati that he didn't catch, and it would have been a spectacular catch. I didn't really blame him on that. But the one yesterday, I know it was sloppy conditions and everything, but he dropped the catchable one. It was like it was
a light drizzle. It wasn't like this torrential downpour like people were thinking. Now
I think Lamar gets a bad knock. I think he puts the ball in good spots. I think the receivers aren't that good.
Let me. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be a realist about it.
Okay.
Because on my show over the entire course of the offseason, I was convinced that Lamar was going to be a quarterback either on the Indianapolis Colts or the Atlanta Falcons. I thought that he was going to one of those two teams in the offseason. I kind of mentally prepared myself all year that Lamar wasn't going to be a Baltimore Raven come 2023. I was trying to make the pain less. Everybody's saying Lamar can't throw. The thing is, we had 10 years of Joe Flacco in Baltimore. Joe Flacco has a historically fantastic, strong, accurate arm. Now, his penchant for reading defenses can be suspect over the course of the years, but Flacco can make every throw on a football field with ease because he had the arm to do it. Lamar has the arm strength. He doesn't have the touch.
Okay.
Yes.
And because Lamar struggles reading defenses sometimes, the touch decreases even more because it's a panicked throw.
Okay.
Like Joe Flacco could stand in the pocket and make a throw outside the numbers with ease because that's how easy he had it with the arm strength. And a lot of people are comparing this offense and this iteration of offense in this generation to the previous, which is what everybody does for their teams.
Right.
If you think about who Joe Flacco was throwing to, they weren't big name receivers, but Anquan Bolden was a linebacker. He was a linebacker that could catch
but he
the
wasn't. He wasn't there the whole it was after you know.
Right. I'm just saying the last iteration before we started going to this phase. Torrey Smith took the top of the defense. Torrey Smith was going to do two things on the field. He was either running the 9 or he was going to run the comeback route, a curl or a hitch. But the thing is, if Joe Flacco could throw the ball at the Torrey, he's either A, going to outrun the guy and catch it, or he's going to get a little bit of contact, flail his arms, and get a pass interference, which is just as good as a catch.
Yep.
Correct.
Very true.
We lack the hard-nosed offensive players of our previous generation, and people are associating that to this football team now. We don't have the dogs on offense the way that we used to. There's no a wide receiver on this team that's going to go up and get the ball and muscle a safety or a linebacker or a cornerback. There's not a running back on this team that's going to run you over and then get in your grill afterwards and let you know that he just ran you over. Gus is quiet, but he's a good running back. This is a whole different team, and people are mixing legacy with current team construct, and it's really pissing a lot of people off in our fan base.
The historical identity of them. Yeah. You think of the Ravens, you think of what you just said. So when they're not playing that,
The We Like Sportz Show Nation wants to know, and as a Cleveland fan, everyone wants to know, where the hell's OBJ at? Give us an update on OBJ and what's going on with him and how long he's going to be out.
He got hurt last week in the second quarter. He ran a slant. He caught the ball, but when he went to plant and go upfield, his foot like kind of jammed into the turf a little bit, and he had an ankle injury. He's going to be week to week, just like majority of our other guys that are injured, with the exception of J.K. Dobbins and Tylen Wallace now, but he's not. I wasn't when he signed in Baltimore. I was happy, not because
So
I was
was
thinking
I.
we were
I was
getting
happy too.
the New York Giants iteration of OBJ or even the first year Cleveland OBJ. I know he was signing for December and January.
Got to get there first, though.
So if he gives us, if he gives us 12 games, maybe 10 games, I'm cool with it. I know he wasn't coming here playing the whole 17. He hasn't played the whole 17 years.
Yeah, but he planned on it. That's what he wanted.
So
that's what he was expecting, the money.
Well, the thing is, who was going to pay him the money that we did?
Nobody was.
I think you guys outbid you outbid yourselves. Nobody was going to pay him that.
Because
it's a Kareem Hunt.
The thing is, this was a signing to appease our quarterback.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lamar wanted weapons, and he asked the front office for it. He wanted Hopkins as well. He wanted Zay. He wanted Bateman. He wanted.
I would have said Hopkins would have been a better investment. Yeah.
But the thing is, Hopkins wasn't available as a free agent when we signed Odell. Because I think if it was Hopkins or Odell, we're signing Hopkins. Because at the time, Arizona was still holding him hostage.
So I'm sure he's regretting that Tennessee move, though.
Odell's. Oh, of course, because Ryan Tannehill's his quarterback. And, I mean, I think he threw for 75 yards yesterday or something crazy.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Yeah.
104.
The leading fantasy scorer for the Tennessee Titans was DeAndre Hopkins with 7 points. So that tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, I like the thing is, I'm a little bit biased because Odell's agent invited me to do a football camp for him this past July.
Okay, I'm glad the truth. This is what we love on the We Like Sportz Show. Unveil the curtain.
I got a chance to hang out and meet him and rub elbows with his family and all that, just for a little bit. But that doesn't cloud my judgment of being an analyst for my team, an independent content creator, whatever you want to label it as. So, I think Odell is going to be okay. I just think they're handling him with kid gloves right now.
Another question for you, because this is very, very out of the realm of normalcy in Baltimore. But I saw one Justin Tucker miss that. Did he just pop that up like a golf shot? Did he just, get too much ball lift on it? I mean, because he didn't miss it by much, obviously, but I mean, it seemed like he popped it up, kind of.
One of my friends that was in the game that was sitting like right on the yard mark where he kicked the ball in the lower level. He said it sounded odd off of his foot. Now, he said it looked like he got a little bit too much lift under it, and it sounded like a hollow kick. It didn't sound like the thud that he's used to hearing. Now, I love I love Justin Tucker. Don't get me wrong. He's been a fantastic Hall of Fame worthy kicker. He might go down as one of the greatest kickers of all time.
Yep.
We got to stop putting him in a position where a 61, 62-yarder is going to win the game.
You're relying on him too much. It's like the Browns.
He's done it so many times. He's done it so many times, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, we're accustomed to thinking that. And when it doesn't happen, then there's a meltdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then people get upset. And then it was evident that Harbaugh lost faith in him to do just to do that again, because there was a situation where on that 4th down in overtime, after we got the Colts to go 3 and out, it was a 62-yard game winner, and he didn't. Yep, he trotted out. He trotted out Jordan Stout instead of Justin Tucker.
Yep.
So I think that Harbaugh was second guessing himself with the entire duration of how that game went, and it is now looking like he doesn't trust Justin Tucker. And a lot of people called him out on that on social media yesterday, and I'm not losing faith in Justin Tucker. He's missed 2 kicks this year. He's missed a 59-yarder and a 61-yarder.
Oh, he's trash now. He's trash.
Yeah, but he was dead on with that kick, though. It was dead center. It
was dead center.
It was dead center.
It was dead center. It would have if he would have had a little bit more on it, he could have probably hit the goalpost and it would have bounced over.
Or some wind behind him, he would have had it.
It's one of those situations where it was a hurricane it was a perfect storm of everything that could go wrong in this game went wrong. Untimely
we can
turnovers.
relate.
Yeah, we're Browns fans. We know all about
it. We can relate.
Untimely
that
turnovers.
was us last Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this game worries me because you guys came out and had a statement game yesterday.
Yes.
Good defense.
You put up solid points. Your defense was stout. I don't care who your opponent was. And you guys came out swinging after a letdown game the week before. So now we got you guys riding high, and we got to come out and prove that we aren't the team we were yesterday.
Correct. And like you said with Lamar Jackson, I think how you described him is perfect. Like he could throw the ball just that touch. Because there was times I watched the game yesterday. There's times where you had some open guys though towards the end, and he just didn't throw it to him. And I'm confused as to maybe you have a better idea, but he had 100 rushing yards. In the first 3 quarters, maybe going in the fourth, and then they didn't run the ball at all in overtime, right? So you guys had your 2 touchdowns and you moved because of him running, and then you stopped in overtime, and then just punted or said taking 60-yard kicks. It was strange to me that he kept trying to throw the ball instead of just running it.
Because they safeguarded that in overtime and in the fourth quarter. I had done my initial reaction show last night, and I had Bernard Pollard on as a guest. Bernard's a pretty good friend of mine, and he's done the show plenty, and he's a notorious anti-John Harbaugh guy until recently. He put it in perspective of what an NFL defender would do. What the Colts did is they played dual spies from hash mark to sideline on each side of the field. They left the middle open to the safety, and they pretty much were giving the under routes to the receivers that they were protecting deep, and they were protecting Lamar taking off. Because if anybody is paying attention, I'm paying attention because that's my quarterback.
Correct.
When he was 21 years old, 22 years old, he was outrunning everybody on that field. Yes. He was making dudes look crazy, goofy, looking, diving at air. But now here we are, 2 season-ending injuries later, a hefty contract later, an off season in which last year he put on 20 pounds of muscle, and now he's getting run down by linebackers.
Whoa.
He can still make players initially miss. But when you take away his outside running lanes and then you take away the middle of the field throwing the ball, he's a mediocre quarterback. And I love Lamar to death. I think he is a generational athlete. He's not a generational quarterback.
I don't think I disagree with one thing that you've said about Lamar Jackson this entire time. I think that is the perfect description so far. 100% agree with you. But I mean, you got Todd Monken now, though. How can he not be the answer? I mean, come on. The Browns had him.
Todd Monken's offense is predicated. See, I watched some tape after we brought him on. I started watching Georgia online on YouTube. Okay. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing that he predicates his offense on is having a stout offensive line give the quarterback at least 3 to 3.5 seconds to throw the ball. Stetson Bennett was hardly touched in his national championship runs.
True.
So now you have the best offensive line in the SEC with a 25-year-old quarterback throwing against 18, 19, and 20-year-old defenders. It's gonna be skewed a little bit because now you're going from the SEC. We're not playing Vanderbilt. We're not playing Ole Miss. We're not playing anybody like that. Now you have a swing tackle protecting his blind side, who is undersized for the position. Then you have a center who couldn't even hack it on the Chicago Bears last year. This is now protecting protecting him. And then he ran into a buzzsaw named DeForest Buckner. So it was a recipe for disaster. But the thing is, you need time in his offense to throw the ball and for your receivers to get downfield to make everything happen. Now you got Rashad Bateman who can take the top off of a defense. You got him running 6-yard curl routes. Mark Andrews is different this year because instead of him just going out there running wherever he sees fit, he now has to run the system. Greg Roman, whatever Mark Andrews wanted to do. And now
it's like the Travis Kelce. They find that week that open spot.
Play system football, and he's not the focal point. If he's not option 1 or 2, he's just running around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So in Monken's offense, you need everybody to do their job, and you need to protect your quarterback. And right now, none of that's happening.
That sounds like we got good news for the Browns.
Well, I wanted to bring that up. Speaking of, you said running into buzzsaws and everything.
Yep.
We got the Browns and the Ravens this Sunday. What do you think is the key, and how many sacks do you think the Browns are going to have this weekend? Because they're putting on quite a clinic. Obviously, Myles Garrett with 3.5 sacks, and like you said, with this Ravens offensive line, not exactly the Raven-esque type of offensive line that they were, a couple years ago or like a decade ago when you're in your heyday. So is Lamar Jackson, is he going to not like his trip to Cleveland this time? Because usually he comes to Cleveland and he breaks our hearts and everything like that. So, but I got a feeling that Jim Schwartz and the Browns defense have something for him. What are your thoughts on that?
You were breaking up a little bit, Ed. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, basically, Lamar Jackson not going to have fun in Cleveland. Myles Garrett going to meet him and sack him. What are your thoughts about the Browns defensive line versus the Ravens offensive line?
I really think that with the history of the teams right now, and Myles Garrett wreaks havoc on us every time we see him. He terrifies me because Morgan Moses is a terrible pass blocking right tackle, and McCary is not much better on the left side. And then to add on insult to injury, you guys have Zadarius Smith as his bookend, and I think this weekend's gonna be a lot of Myles Garrett chasing down number 8 and none to pull out on the top of my head.
The other thing too is that like, you look at Tennessee, right? They're not the greatest team, but you had Derrick Henry held to 20 yards and he was negative something at halftime. Like you said before, you've got Melvin Gordon, right? And you got Gus Edwards and you got Kenyon Drake. They're not Derrick Henry, right? So with that run defense shutting on Derrick Henry and your O-line, I mean, granted, Tennessee's O-line was poor as well because everyone was out. They showed that graphic as well, who they thought was going to play. But that's the other thing, too, is that run game might not get going with that defensive line we have. And then JOK at linebacker and, Anthony Walker having that speed we have at linebacker. I truly think we drafted JOK, not just because just for Lamar Jackson, but I think he could help contain Lamar Jackson with that speed that he has. And Delpit's having a great year, too, with the speed he has. So I think, I crossing fingers, I hope we can play the way we have yesterday and then the first week of the year. Even like Keith knows this. The second we get Steelers, those turnovers killed us offensively. Defensive, we haven't had until yesterday.
Yeah, that's what lost the game for real.
Yeah, the defense hasn't had a red zone, like anything in the red zone until we had a fumble in the red zone. So like our defense isn't even letting anybody on the field. It's the offense putting our defense in a tough spot.
Bad situations.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, I mean, Lamar Jackson, if anybody could, kind of finagle around and get out of that stuff, it is him with the mobility he has.
I
but
think that
just...
you guys, you.
Little technical difficulties. That's okay. That's what makes this fun here. So, you know what? I want to throw this out. I don't know if you're in the prediction game, but I'm gonna throw one out. I think the Browns win, And I don't think it's going to be that close of a game because I don't think the Baltimore offense ever gets going against this Browns defense. If Indianapolis can shut down and slow down Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, good luck going on the road against the Cleveland Browns, because I do think finally this Cleveland Browns, I think this might be the best defense the Browns have ever had.
Yes.
We want to talk about the 85 Bears. We want to talk about the 2000 Ravens. Obviously, those teams had Mike Singletary and obviously Ray Lewis. I don't think the Browns have that, impact at middle linebacker. I think JOK is a good linebacker, but I'm not going to put him in the same category as those cats, no way, shape, or form. But I do think the Browns, when you can get pressure without having to blitz and your defensive line is causing havoc before your linebackers even, we're making tackles. Our linebackers can just sit there and get a lawn chair. They don't even, then when it comes to coverage, our secondary's been so good. Like I said, pull up and get a lawn chair and watch it. It's like the middle of our defense or the linebackers, they don't have to really do much. They come in, at the end of a play and then they congratulate, Myles
but that's
Garrett.
the good thing, though, is that they have the chance then to see what's going on in attack instead of having to worry about
Thank you, Casey.
True.
Yes.
They can analyze the play instead of, like I said, trying to worry about, oh shit, this one's gonna, and they could make the play that's needed.
Thank you.
Correct.
You said
what does worry me is our offense against their defense, because as I told you guys last week, I did watch the Ravens and Bengals game, right? And I personally think that the Ravens won that game because of their defense. I think their defense was killing the offense of the Bengals, and that's what the difference maker was. So I'm hoping Watson plays the way he just did, not the way he played against the Steelers, because that Steelers defense, what I've also gained from watching them is turnovers is what they do. The Browns do not create turnovers. I don't think we've created a turnover yet. It's stopping them on third down. Yes. That's what our strength is. We haven't got any turnovers yet or scored touchdowns, right, defensively.
No. We've got turnovers.
Well, the Steelers are turnovers. That's what's killing us. We didn't get that many, though. I think we haven't had that many, though, this year.
Because we got two against
We could have had a pick six, but I think we dropped.
Yeah, but like our big thing is those third down stops so far, and not letting any third and longs, leaving a third and longs and giving up.
We're not a bend don't break defense that gets turnovers. We're a kind of team that basically 3 and out. We're going to shut you down.
The Steelers is the turnovers. That's what they won that game because of that. And I'm worried the Ravens, I think, do have a few playmakers on that defense that could create turnovers. They got our friend Jadeveon Clowney, number 24 or something, I think his number is this year. But I'm just slightly worried about the Deshaun Watson factor, right? He looked good yesterday. That was his best game with the Browns. But hopefully it's turning, the right step in the right direction with him. But that's my worry. Our defense, I think, will do a good job. I'm worried about their defense stopping us, and having a 10-3, 10-7, 13-7 game, and having Dustin Hopkins, he's making kicks, but continue to make those kicks. I just don't want to see Justin Tucker having to kick a 60-yarder to beat us, because we've seen that enough times, and he's made them more than he's missed them. So I don't want to see that.
And another thing that does worry me against Baltimore, even on defense, is they're going up against a mobile quarterback this time.
Yeah.
Because first time around, Joe Burrow's not mobile.
Yep.
Right.
Pickett's not mobile.
You're correct.
And Tannehill's not Texas A&M Tannehill no more.
This is where those spies, what he said with JOK, Anthony Walker, and then trying to – they do have speed. Those two have speed, just keeping up and keeping Jackson contained.
Yeah, we will really see what our linebackers got this Sunday.
Correct. And Delpit, because Delpit, is that backup behind him.
I think that JOK. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, Matt. I was going to you. I was going to you, Matt. Go ahead.
I think that JOK was brought to Cleveland specifically for this type of offense that we have. The key to the game, honestly, is if we can get the running game going and get downhill to your second and third level of your defense, we're going to mitigate the speed with power running. And if Gus does play, or even Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's not a little guy, and Gordon to the second level early enough in the game. I think that we're going to be able to mitigate the speed of JOK and Walker, and we're going to and honestly, the only way we can really stifle your front four is to beat them down early in the entire. That's where I personally think that if we can run at Garrett and not have him pursue, and we kind of lean on him a little bit early in the game, I think that it'd be a little bit, better for us in the long run. Because you guys have been alluding to the last couple of minutes, you guys have the speed. Delpit's having a great year. Myles Garrett's the best pure pass rusher in football. And you guys have Zadarius Smith on the other side, who is a fantastic run defender, and he's a good pass rusher. So the only way we're going to be able to do this is if Gus is healthy and we can attack your defense early in the game. And that's what I really think that it's going to come down to.
And that's what you need. You need your defense to stop us from scoring, because once you get down a couple scores, then you got to start passing the ball, and that's where it goes downhill, because then you lose the run game. So if your defense can kind of stop us, then there's, like you said, you can keep trying to pound that ball and play in the long game to have something open up later in the game.
I agree with that. But you know what? I think we've beaten down the Ravens and the Browns. Obviously, Matt, you're on your show last night. You're doing your thing, and I'm sure that's got to be tough after a tough loss. But let's talk about something more positive in the Charm City, and that would be the Baltimore Orioles. I want your take on your O's right now. I mean, is it World Series? Is Baltimore, thinking that this could be their year because they're fending off the devil, or the Rays, I should say. Don't want to call them devil Rays. I want to get in trouble.
Watch your mouth, Ed.
I will watch my mouth. But yeah, Matt, tell me about how the Orioles are and how excited the city of Baltimore is for your O's.
I am ecstatic right now. I'm telling you guys this, I am not old enough to remember the Orioles' last World Series. And I pray that we can at least make it. I want to see a World Series game in Baltimore in person before I die. And if that happens to be this year, I'm okay with it. The Orioles have pleasantly surprised me. And I am like on cloud nine listening to these guys on the radio, watching them play. It's something that I'm taking in and I'm enjoying, because I know that our cheap ass owner is not going to be able to hold on to all these guys. So
sounds familiar.
I am enjoying. I am enjoying Adley, Gunner, Jackson will be up next year. I'm enjoying Santander and Hayes and Mullins and Mountcastle all together, Jordan Westberg and all them, because I know that this beautiful ride is going to come to an end when they can't justify paying one of our top guys the money they deserve. And I know you guys, I'm not going to try and open any old wounds, but you're the Indians team of the early 90s. Seeing all those guys leave.
Yeah.
I know that killed y'all. I know seeing Manny Ramirez go on to become a Hall of Famer with the Boston Red Sox is a little.
We can hate Boston. Hey, that's one thing, Matt. We can all agree. Baltimore and Cleveland, we hate Boston. And Keith, you being a Yankees fan, you hate Boston.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly.
You see us just up there looking like, I can't wait. We're gonna have a new manager, possibly a new GM next year. Because finishing in fourth place is totally unacceptable.
Help the bloated payroll with nobody in the farm system coming up.
Yeah.
Well, like I said,
I think the Rays, man. I not just this in general. The Rays are consistently under the radar and a tough team. That's what I think. That I'm impressed that Baltimore. I mean, we're doing you favors because the Guardians can't beat you to save our lives, but we can't even get a hit against John Means. That was a one home run that Jimenez hit. That was it. But the Rays are always a team. They do struggle in the playoffs recently. They haven't done much going deep, but you never know because they got, like I said, down in Florida, I see them. So they do have a good team too. I like their Orioles too. I like the Rays and the Orioles. I have no problem against if either one of those teams, makes the World Series this year. I'm okay with either one of them. because they're both small market, don't have a lot of money, don't spend that much, kind of built from within type teams.
You better hope Houston chokes then this year.
I hope they do. That's the one team I really don't want.
Yeah.
It's the one team.
I think baseball
Well,
is one of those things.
if you guys know,
Oh, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think baseball is one of those things where it is all about momentum and magic a little bit. And the '97 Indians, speaking of heartbreak, I'm saying they lost the World Series, but they beat Baltimore in the ALCS. Tony Fernandez with the game winner, Game 6. We beat Mike Mussina, and I'll never forget that '97 team had magic. And it looks like this Baltimore Orioles team, they got some type of magic, and there's something to be said about them because, Tampa gets out to that big start. The Orioles chase them down. You would think they had that 4-game series a week ago with Tampa, and you would think, okay, Tampa's going to overtake them now. They haven't done so. So I think if the Baltimore Orioles win the AL East, I think that bodes very well for them and their magical run to the World Series.
I'm hoping and wishing and praying for the same thing.
Hey,
I know someone I went to high school with is on the Orioles, so I'm rooting for the Orioles.
Casey knows everybody. He's
on the major league team. He was last year. Zach Lowther, a pitcher you guys have.
Shout out, Zach. Hey, join us on the We Like Sportz Show. We'll get him on.
Peyton graduated with them. That was Peyton's graduating class.
Well,
he was one of the.
What is Peyton doing? Shout out to Peyton, Vince. Get him, book him on. Let's go. Especially
he was one of the 70 kids in our graduating. Like you only have 70. My high school is so small. 70 kids were in the graduating class. So Peyton knows who the kid is. He played baseball with them in high school, and so did I. Wow. So yeah, he's on the Orioles. So I hope
Casey, I heard you were the 69th smartest kid in that class.
Yeah, that's right. This big head doesn't have a big brain.
There you go.
My graduating class was 311.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
that's why it's 305.
With Zach Lowther, because it's such a small school, we all know each other there. That's why it's like I said, it's not such a big, 300. We had 300 in the whole high school.
One of our famous alumni from the late '90s is Mark Teixeira, who was
Mark is nice.
Really?
Yeah,
Texas Ranger.
He still has all of the high school 18-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, but my biggest one is Flip Saunders, the one that the coach in the that was our big one. And then Ben Wallace was my college, Tri-C Community College. Ben Wallace went there and played basketball.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Ben Wallace.
I graduated with. He was on the tennis team but he played football too. You know what I'm saying? Alex Grinch, defensive coordinator for USC, was at Ohio State, was at Oklahoma, will be a head coach someday. So shout out to Alex Grinch. But when the Buckeyes play you when they join the Big Ten, not too much luck, my friend.
Also, one of my intramural point guards on my intramural team at Tri-C was Chuck Smith, who pitched for the Florida Marlins.
Chuck Smith, yes.
Yep, pitched for the Florida Marlins and Boston Red Sox.
That's right. Okay.
And a funny story? I never knew he had played baseball until one day I was knocked out sleep on my bed, and then I'm watching Sports Center, and they said Chuck Smith makes his major league debut. All this time?
You never told me, Chuck. You never told me.
Right. I knew him for basketball because dude could hoop.
Wow.
Dude was like 5'11", 6 feet, and had springs for legs. Dude could hoop.
Just like you
had a
had.
fastball too, obviously.
Yeah. But baseball, I heard one of my boys tell me, he said, when we played Adams and Chuck pitched, you wasn't getting no hits or runs.
That who knew, Keith?
That's like Ed Junior in Columbus is pitching too. It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, well actually, it's funny that you say that. He runs cross country. My son runs cross country, and the joke is we always have him running suicides. But I think instead of that, we're just going to have the whole street be the suicide, and he can go back and forth. Because
I have never understood cross country.
You know what? I don't get it. I say this all the time, and I really mean this. Why run unless somebody's chasing you? That's what I'm saying.
Running for fun and running for sport are two different things, but like I think it's like self-masochism if you run for fun.
No,
Nobody wants to do that.
I don't disagree. Matt, with that thought, like I said, you have been a great guest. I want to, shout you out, and you know what, you can do it better than I can.
You offended his son now because his son runs cross country.
No, look, he's not watching right now. I agree with Matt. Running for fun, you got to be wired differently. But Matt, tell everybody where they can find you, because I know you put on a great show. We thank you for coming on our show, but you do a great job. Unfortunately, we don't like your team. I'll say go O's. I can't say go Ravens.
Correct, yeah.
But I respect you.
Same.
Understood. I want to thank you guys for being patient with me, because my Wi-Fi has been going crazy, and I was piecemealing together some of the questions, and I was trying to make the best of my Wi-Fi.
You did a good job.
It's always a pleasure having you on, man. I'm glad you're on
absolutely. If you guys, I can invite you guys. We're doing a Cleveland Browns preview show on Thursday night. If any of you guys want to come on.
Okay.
9:30 Eastern. If all three of you guys want to come on,
I think I can do it. Yeah.
And I'll send the invite. And thank you for the kind words about the show. This stuff is not easy getting it. An audience, and everybody thinks it's just stepping in front of a microphone, but it's a difficult thing to do, and be unbiased in reporting about your team that you love. Yep. And you guys have a fantastic show. I love watching you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. I'm at BWATB Podcast. That stands for Bearded, Wholesome, and All Things Baltimore. I do two separate shows. The Charm City Heavyweights I do with my best friend Josh, and we do all Baltimore sports there. We do college basketball, college football, the Ravens, and the Orioles. But on my All Things Baltimore show, I interview different people from all walks of life. That's kind of like a culture and societal uplifting show, to where I step out of my comfort zone. I've interviewed rappers, politicians, teachers, entrepreneurs. So I have a nice little catalog of about almost 100 episodes over there. That show actually parlayed me into a guest spot as a backup actor on We Own This City. That was based on the Baltimore Gun Trace Task Force on HBO last year. So my ugly mug was in episode 2 for a couple seconds. I'm sorry, I had like 6.5 seconds of screen time, but I enjoyed making the content. I appreciate you guys, inviting me on and taking some time out of your guys' busy schedule. After this week, I can't even say good luck to you guys, because I don't want you guys to win a whole lot of games.
Fair enough.
But thank you for having me on, fellas. Yep. I hope that we can run this back on my end with Josh in a couple nights, and I'll shoot you guys the details.
All right, sounds good. So, all right, everybody, check out special 9:30 Thursday.
I might have one of my friends is from Baltimore. He played with the Cleveland Browns in 2010, and I'm trying to get him to come on the show Thursday night. So we might have a ex-Cleveland Brown.
I'm sure Keith will know who he is. Keith knows every single Cleveland Brown freaking name.
He was a fullback and a tight end. His name was Joel Gamble.
Okay. I've heard that name before.
He played with you guys for 1 year, but yeah, I'm gonna try and get him on the show. I've messaged him. We're trying to link some things up, but if all goes well, I'll see you guys on 9:30 on Thursday night.
Sounds great, my man. Good. Everybody check Matt out. He does a great job for Baltimore, Charm City, and have a good one, my guy.
You guys too, likewise.
All right, take it easy, Matt. I will wish you good luck, but I can't wish you good luck. I wish you good luck with the Orioles.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, and advice as far as with the Orioles, take this year as it is, and the reason why I say that, because the Guardians found out this year you can't keep kicking the can down the road.
Yep.
You got to win.
You never know what the next year may bring.
Yep, I agree with that. Go win the whole damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Why not your year? Why not?
I'm taking it all in, because I was expecting with Elias, I was expecting a 5-year to 6-year rebuild, cleaning out the farm system, restocking. But we won 83 last year. We're on pace for 101 this year. And I'm not trying to set my expectations too high, but like he said, I'm enjoying this season.
Yep.
If we make a run to the World Series, I'm going to take out a loan and I'm going to go to a World Series game. So, or I'm gonna sell a kidney, one of the two. But
hey, man, you got two kidneys. That's okay. It's okay. You can get rid of one.
But I'm appreciating it, because this is a once in a lifetime kind of deal. My wife even understands.
Well,
Yes, because
she's a good lady for dealing with you and dealing with everybody that deals with sports, because we are fanatics, and that's what makes us crazy. But everybody, check out Matt. We'll see you Thursday. Have a great night, my guy.
all right, Matt.
All right, bro.
Good seeing you, brother.
All right. That was great having Matt. You know what? I don't like the Baltimore Ravens, but I do like Matt. He's a great guy. He does great things and puts shows
I'm telling you,
together.
man, every time we got these good guests, it's hard when their teams are the ones we root against.
It is so hard. I mean, like I said, because we're all fans. You know what? He can't help it. He all he's doing is being loyal to his team, like we're loyal to our team.
He was even honest. Like, it wasn't like it was. Like he said, he's not biased with what he's saying.
Right.
It's tough to do that.
We might be a little biased. We might do.
I don't know though, because our defense is. I don't know, man.
It is. Our defense is the best ever. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. I'm not biased at all. I am not biased.
I'm not going. You're pushing it farther than I am, but I mean,
we're gonna beat Detroit in the Super Bowl.
That's right. It's gonna be. But you know what we'll do?
Speaking of Detroit, yeah, there you go. Speaking of Detroit, perfect.
We're gonna go around the NFL right now. We're gonna because I actually take this serious. I didn't type it up this time. I actually wrote it hand notes or whatever like that. But I'm trying. We'll start with the Thursday night game. Like I said, just say one thing or just say, you know what, moving on. I don't care. Niners beat the Giants 30-12. My take on that is it's a 13th straight regular season win for the Niners. They just keep on winning, and they keep winning in impressive fashion.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Fair enough. Casey.
For me, I think a great game is going to be after our bye. We're playing the Niners that week. I think that's going to be a good game to watch. I have McCaffrey on all my fantasy teams that I could draft him in. I love him. I mean, he's great. He scores touchdowns like it's his job. So the Niners, I think, are. Yeah, but some other.
It is his job, Casey. That is his job.
How much he scores them though? It's like it's almost as many wins as they have. He scored touchdowns that many games.
That's true.
I think that the Niners are a team you got to watch out for. And Purdy, I think, is a good quarterback.
We'll go. Obviously, our favorite game: the Browns 27, Titans 3. My take on this: Browns have the best defense in the NFL. Period.
We kicked Tennessee's ass.
Tennessee.
And think about it. What's more impressive is the Browns did this to a really physical football team.
True. Yep.
Correct.
Not exactly the most skilled in the skilled positions. I think that's what gets Tennessee in trouble. But you're right. A Mike Vrabel team.
I don't know, man. They got Derrick Henry and they got DeAndre.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair enough. Browns' best defense in the league. I agree, Casey. We're going to move on to the Seahawks and the Panthers. Seahawks get it done 37-27. My take on this was Andy Dalton came in through for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know they got Bryce Young, and he's out a couple of weeks, but that offense obviously does better with a veteran quarterback. Their defense isn't that good, and obviously the Seahawks at home. I'm saying, actually, I think it was in Carolina, but whatever the case may be, I just think
are you sure? I thought it was in Seattle.
Oh, was it in Seattle? Okay, so I was right initially. I wrote it down, and I didn't. I was, I'm saying I didn't do a good job.
Seattle's tough to beat up there.
Yeah, the 12th man.
I mean, I don't think either one of those teams are going to do anything this year, but with Dalton, I watched them, but they said that Dalton chose that he wanted to go to that team because he liked the structure and the coaches. And funny enough, a former Brown is on the coaching staff of that team, Josh McCown. He's on the coaching staff. He was on TV a couple times, but Andy Dalton, I mean, they lost the game, but he's known for
the rifle. The red rifle still rifling.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay, we'll go to a game that wasn't exactly the most entertaining. But you know what? Lions 20, Falcons 6. Jared Goff did it with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. I think Jared Goff is underrated. I like this Lions team. They can win ugly. They won, obviously, in Kansas City the first week. I know there was some player, Kelsey was out and everything. But Lions are one of those teams where I think they're going to, win ugly in some games. But they're winning, and that's what counts. I think the Cleveland Browns, this message to Browns fans out there, hey, sometimes it's not the most sexiest, but a win is a win in the National Football League. Win is a win. Yep.
You only got 17 games, so you better win as many as you can.
I agree.
Correct.
Anything on that one?
The Falcons.
Yeah. Okay.
Falcons aren't in. I don't know about Desmond Ridder. I do have a question for you two. Who if you had to have a franchise right now, right? And let's just say this season, right? Who would you have as your quarterback? Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson?
Jared Goff.
I have to go with Goff.
Goff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's
Isn't
playing
that crazy
great.
though?
He's playing great.
Hey, that's crazy. Even though you wouldn't have thought. Yes, I mean though. But,
I mean, yeah. I mean,
A lot of people. Can I say this? A lot of people shit on Jared Goff, but
Yeah.
Jared Goff took them to the Super Bowl at one
I
point.
know.
He did. That's what he did. Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Well, we're going to go on with some Jordan Love, Lambeau Love, I should say. Down 17-0. The Pack on the attack come back and win 18-17. Saints miss a late field goal with about 1:05 to go. My take on this is, you know what? Jordan Love time. It's the Jordan Love era in Green Bay. And one of the things that in Green Bay as a quarterback, you got to have that magic. And you know what? It wasn't pretty for 3 quarters, but 18 fourth quarter points, they got it done.
That was a game I was shocked about because New Orleans was up like 17-0.
Yep.
And then I was still watching the Browns game, and then I did my post game. Then I went back to the TV. I was like, Green Bay won?
Yeah.
They looked at dead in the water.
Plug your post game.
They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have won.
Plug your post game, Keith. Tell everybody in the audience what are you talking about?
Oh, yes. Check out the Locked On Sports Browns post-game show every Sunday about 20 to 30 minutes after each and every Browns game.
And you never know. Sometimes I make an appearance.
Sometimes.
So you want to check that out.
It might make an appearance.
Shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Trouble's a brewing then on that show.
Yes.
A brouhaha and a brewing.
And also check out the pregame show
we
as
do.
well.
Yeah.
I overslept Sunday. So then I woke up. Then I said, I'm going to just do it anyway around 12 o'clock. And I did it around 12:15. And I had everybody for about 20 minutes, 30
That's
minutes.
nice.
I ain't want to run into the game. So
I appreciate we all appreciate that. Sometimes getting the local coverage better than what you're going to get on CBS and Fox. Speaking of brouhahas and all that, Dolphins 70, Broncos 20. I mentioned it in my breakhead news. My thing is this: 2 of 4 touchdowns. The running back Mostert and the other guy, Achane, whatever, got 4 touchdowns. What's going on down there? What is going on down there? Miami, the best offense in football.
Jalen Waddle didn't even play.
Jalen Waddle didn't even play. Good point.
Sure didn't.
Jeff Wilson's not even back yet.
That's jeez.
Also, Karma didn't hit Sean Payton. Remember all that stuff he was saying about the Jets offensive coordinator now that was formerly the Broncos coach? If you remember, last year, the Broncos was in a lot of those games that they lost.
That's true. Yeah.
And now they're getting blown out the water.
They're getting blown.
And think about this, which is more surprising. Denver had a top 10 defense for the last 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. He also made comments about Tua last year too, Sean Payton, saying that it wasn't that great. So,
well,
that's karma.
What did the kids say he found out?
I think that the Dolphins, like I said, I told you guys last week. One of my friends is a big Dolphins fan, so I know more about the Dolphins than again more people will. I think if Tua stays healthy, they're tough. And Tyreek, I said it too. I didn't realize how tough Tyreek is until this year too. Like it's impressive.
He is him.
Yeah, correct. It's impressive. And then the Broncos, I don't like the Broncos, so I'm okay with them getting their ass kicked. I don't like Sean Payton. Russell Wilson, I really don't love that much, so I really don't. I'm okay with them getting their ass kicked.
It was fun. It was funny looking because it was like a high school score. It was like I was like,
I couldn't believe it.
Is this St. Ignatius playing somebody or what? Or Glenville playing somebody or what?
And like I said, I was watching it on my the game cast on my phone because I needed a goddamn field goal in that game. and every time I watched it, I said, "Holy shit!" Mike White, 67-yard touchdown. Then that Javon Achan's how he wants to be called now. I saw.
Yep.
Javon Achan, 4 touchdowns, 200 yards. I was like,
not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yeah, you put the backups in, and they're still killing them. Like it just like the Broncos just had that white flag and just said, "I'm done. We're done.
Well,
do what you want."
Speaking of more offense, we're going to go up to Minnesota where the Chargers got it done. 2 0-2 teams. One's 0-3, the Vikings. Herbert, 40 of 47, 405 yards and 3 tutties. The Chargers getting it done. Vikings, rumor has it too, and Peyton Benz kept sending me this stuff, and I saw it again. So shout out to Peyton Benz. I appreciate that. But Jets, would you trade if the Vikings have a fire sale? Would you trade for Kirk Cousins and try to salvage your season?
Yes.
I would. I mean,
Yeah, that's not a bad
Yes.
idea. I mean,
Yes.
Kirk Cousins, I don't think if he was.
he's on my
Those-
fantasy team. He got me
Same.
26 points or something yesterday. So
Those two teams just blow my mind.
yeah,
The Chargers, like, why the hell would you go for it on your own 20-yard line? They still won the game, but on your own 20-yard line, why would you go for it?
that he
Like,
always does something crazy.
Yeah,
like
because could you imagine if they lost that game? Like, I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't believe he did that. The second thing, I couldn't believe Kirk Cousins. They had 30 seconds to complete that pass down right at the 2-yard line, 1-yard line. Just
Yep.
spike the damn ball.
Yes.
It's first and goal. 30 seconds, spike it, reset everything. You didn't have to rush. So why would you rush it, throw a pick, lose the game? So, like, they got bailed out. I think Cousins is a good quarterback. You put him on the Jets, there's a chance.
Well,
Zach Wilson's fault. Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Speaking of Jets, because we have to mention it. Sorry, due to contractual obligations and going around the NFL, we must mention the Patriots 15, the Jets 10. Zach Wilson 18 of 36, 157 yards, very pedestrian. It reminds me of like a Colt McCoy Browns day back. You know what I'm saying? Just nothing to it. So I'm not going to say much more than that. Keith, anything?
Defensive struggle, and Belichick feast on young quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
I think that Zach Wilson is not the answer at all. I could see him. Josh Rosen-esque. I could see.
Yeah.
I don't think he's anything. And then Mac Jones and the Patriots, they tried to give away that game.
They tried
various times, and then he had that safety. Zach Wilson had that safety. After the safety, they got the ball back, and then they tried to give it away. Like that game was just those two teams. I don't think you got to worry about them. Yeah.
Well, we'll stay in the AFC East and talk about the Bills 37, the Washington Commanders 3. My take on this was obviously a blowout, but Sam Howell for after going to Denver and looking somewhat like a quarterback, threw 4 interceptions yesterday. Yikes!
It makes more sense now, though. After you saw the 7
it does. It does.
Now it makes more sense.
Hey.
Sam Howell too, man. 4 picks. It was bad.
That's bad.
Buffalo said, "Put some respect on our names." And Buffalo also told Washington and the NFL, "Ask yourself, who's the Mac?"
Well, you know what? I'll tell you who is. It might be a young gunslinger from the Ohio State University, because we're going to go down to Jacksonville where CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans pull up the upset 37-17. Stroud 2 touchdowns, 280 yards. But here's the key right here. On the season, Mr. Stroud, 906 yards in 3 games, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think Ohio State has finally graduated a quarterback into the National Football League that will not only be serviceable, will actually be a good quarterback. Your thoughts, Keith, because I want to stick with the Buckeye love right now.
Hey, remember what we talked about last week or during opening weekend, Ed, on my opening show, and we was talking about Jacksonville, saying it was probably a little overrated?
Yes, we did say that. Looking that way, lost to Kansas City in a game that, okay, they didn't play well. You get Houston at home the next week, a bounce back game, what should have been a bounce back game. They got bounced out of the stadium by the Houston Texans, who I don't sleep on D'Amico Ryans, because you know what? I think they're going to struggle, obviously. They're missing a lot of pieces, but obviously they're getting coached well. And for CJ Stroud to be reading defenses with no interceptions, that only bodes well for the future of the Houston Texans. Casey, your thoughts on that one?
I remember last week I had some hard feelings towards the Texans. I don't remember what happened last week with the Texans game, but they didn't look too great. Stroud did, yeah.
They lost to Indianapolis, or whatever like that, and
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, correct. That's what I thought it was something like that. But the takeaway from this is, to be fair, if you look around the rookie quarterbacks this year, Richardson got a concussion. I get it. He only played a game and a quarter.
Yeah,
but he's not looking bad. That game and a quarter in.
I agree.
Stroud's not looking bad. Yep. Bryce Young's not looking bad. I mean, like, there's not really a guy that's, blowing. That's really that bad.
They're not Sam Darnolding it.
Yeah, correct. Like that draft class, right? Like, there's no one that's like that. So the other thing, though, is those Jacksonville. I don't know what is
happened,
going on with
Casey?
them.
Tell me.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jacksonville,
Too much AEW wrestling with the cons, or what's going on?
You would think that they were taking a step, like they had a chance. Like you said, overrated going into it, but like Calvin Ridley didn't do shit this week. But like I thought that they did have a chance to do something. You know, like I didn't think they were going to lose to the Texans 37-17.
You got to win that game. You got to win.
The equivalent is the Ravens game, right? With we talked a little bit earlier. Like they lost to a rookie, Gardner Minshew. They lost to a team that wasn't too good last year, but it was close, right? And I think that they're kind of similar. Like
I agree.
Baltimore and they take the next step to see if they're actually contenders in the championship. Yeah, but like 37, it wasn't 37-34. It was 37-17. That's the crazy thing to me was what are they? Right? Are they going to be a around 500 team? Is that what's going to happen? Or are they going to go on a run? Or what's I don't know.
They were around 500 team last year.
They were 9-8 last year and won the division.
And they were 4-8 at one time.
That's what I'm saying. Like you thought there was a chance that they could, try to take that next step and go to, a positive. I don't know. I
don't think. Hey, Casey, you don't know. They don't know, and I think that's the problem in Jackson.
Urban Meyer don't know either.
Well, that's probably a good thing. He needs to stay out of
He's back in Columbus with his finger guns. So.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, we're going to move on. We already talked about it. Colts 22, Ravens 19 in overtime. My take, Matt Gay, 4 field goals over 50 yards. Sets an NFL record there. We broke it down a lot with Matt Trigger, our special guest. So if you got one more thing to bash Baltimore, feel free to go ahead and say something bad.
Injuries.
Mine is having a kicker comes in huge.
He's not wrong. We'll go to the Tate. We're going to go to the Tate Bowl in Kansas City with the Chiefs 41, the Bears 10. I just got to say this. Everybody wants to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, but here's the thing: as a Buckeye fan, my take on this, I've been saying this for weeks now, and I'll say it again. Justin Fields blows. 99 yards on 11 of 22.
Crazy, man.
The Bears, look. I don't know. Maybe keep losing and get Caleb Williams or something like that, because I don't see the point. They need somebody to turn that organization around. It isn't Justin Fields, and they can blame coaching and this or that. I don't know.
They don't have a first-round pick next year.
I'm going to say to you, they had the first overall pick. I said this last week.
We talked about Casey. Reiterate your point. Reiterate it.
They had the first overall pick, and they gave it away because they thought Fields was the answer and got DJ Moore. And DJ Moore now is bitching that he's on that team and that they can't get the ball to him. I'm just saying that it could have taken Richardson, Young, Stroud. Instead, they said, we want Fields. So
Casey's proving once again we don't have him on because of his boyish good looks. We got him on because there's something inside that brain right there.
Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you, they made their plate, and guess what? They're eating it now. So that's what they wanted to do.
Let's go to another game right now. And shout out to Alan Perales.
Can I say something real quick?
Can you imagine
them going? They might go 0-17 and don't have the first pick in the draft.
Yikes. Ooh. Damn. And we thought it was bad under Hugh Jackson. Well, like I said, we're gonna go to the desert where the Cardinals and Josh Dobbs defeat Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Cowboys thinking Super Bowl 2-0. They lose Trayvon Diggs to an injury. Then they go to
offensive line went down too.
Well, good point. And got beat. Dak throws a costly interception late in that game in the end zone. A lot of problems in Big D now.
It's like the Cowboys normally.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
They got games that are big. Dak goes on some streaks where he's lights out, oh man, this is the guy, and then it's eerily similar to Jimmy Garoppolo to me. Where it's turnover and bad spots.
Yep.
But if you think about it, Dak hasn't really turned heads this year, for real.
Well, this was his first turnover, I think. Though I don't think he would pick until
that was his first. That was his first.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, he wasn't turning it over like Ed said he was going to throw 40 picks. I mean, shit.
I did not.
On Breakhead News, you said that.
I might have said that. That's true.
And it's a situation where the Arizona Cardinals went to Dallas like on Batman versus Superman and said, "You do bleed."
Yeah.
Keith, with that, only on the We Like Sports Show are you going to get that analysis right there. And
The more surprising is the Cardinals looking. I thought
because they should have won last week too.
Away. I just thought they were giving it away, though. I didn't think that they were gonna
maybe
hold
Joshua
on to that
Dobbs is the answer.
Interesting. Former.
Cleveland
Speaking of
Browns.
people, speaking of Cleveland, their coach is from the neighborhood I grew up in, and he went to the same school that I played football at. Their head coach.
Didn't he go to St. Ignatius?
Yes, in the St. Thomas More grade schools where I.
Okay.
He went to St. Thomas More and St. Ignatius. Yep. So he's from right around here.
Yeah, he's from here.
Yep.
Wow.
Head coach.
Mm.
So, more you know, Ed.
I mean, I ain't got that kind of clout and that kind of connection that you got, Casey. But
yeah. Big names.
Right. All right, now we'll go to our last game last night, Sunday Night Football. Steelers 23, the Raiders 18 in a game that Garoppolo and the Raiders kind of gave away. The Steelers, like I said, I don't know. They beat the Browns. They beat the Raiders. My take on this was there were more Steelers fans at that game than there were Raiders fans.
That's every game in Vegas.
Pathetic Las Vegas, and the Raiders should be in Oakland. That's all I'm going to say.
Correct.
True.
It's not the Raiders fans. It's the fact that they moved them out of Oakland.
Exactly.
And you know what's going to be eerily similar to this?
Baseball when the A's move.
Yep, our favorite person. Yep, exactly. That's what I think is going to happen with that.
Just imagine when the Yankees go to Las Vegas. It's going to be more Yankee hats than you see A's.
Well, they're like that everywhere they go, basically.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
They do that.
The thing with the Steelers, like I did touch on earlier, is those turnovers.
Yep.
They're winning these games because their defense is creating turnover. It's not the offense doing anything spectacular. The defense is putting them in good spots and setting them up for success.
TJ Watt and the crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second thing is, like I said earlier with Matt Gay, is having a kicker is huge. Having Boswell, he's a solid kicker. Yes. Having Justin Tucker is a solid kicker. You see the difference in these teams throughout the years of the Browns. We didn't have a kicker since Phil Dawson. We had Seibert. We had York. We had McLaughlin.
We've had as many kickers as quarterbacks.
Cody Parkey, right? None of them. You look at Boswell in those games that are tight, not this one per se, but it was close game.
Right.
He makes the kicks when it matters. Justin Tucker, McPherson from the Bengals,
for Cincinnati.
Yep. That's the difference in our division is having a kicker. Having Hopkins,
I think we got a kicker.
Hope.
I think yes.
Seeing the ball actually do this instead of this when it's off the foot is reassuring to me. I'm not worried about missing an extra point anymore. Right?
Well, one thing about D-Hop too, maybe he doesn't have the leg quite as much as McPherson, Tucker, and Boswell. But from 40,
he does what he needs.
He's very accurate.
Yes,
very accurate.
So the thing with the Steelers is I think that they're always going to be a tough team because that defense has potential
special
turnover.
teams. Special teams.
Yes, that's what I think the difference is. The Raiders. Jimmy G, man, I don't know. McDaniels, I don't know, man. He waited all that time because he was with the Broncos. Remember, sucked. Got rid of with Tebow, I think. Got rid of him. He waited so long to pick that one team he wanted. And they got Garoppolo, which is a guy in his system that knows the system. Yeah. So what's the excuse now? And Garoppolo
it can't be Devontae Adams because he's a dog. That guy.
He carried it. Yeah, all he did last night. He had 100 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah,
it was crazy. So and Devontae Adams might want to pack his bags too.
Oh, well, that's funny. You're reading my mind. I was just actually going to just say that when you said that. So good stuff right there. And let's do this because we're going to go around the NFL real quick. 2 Monday night games tonight. We've got the Eagles and the Bucks and the Rams and the Bengals. Your take. We'll just do this, Keith. Your take on those 2 games real quick.
Okay, because I'm about to run.
Burrow's in.
I know Keith's about to run. I
I got the Bengals winning and I got Philadelphia winning.
Fair enough. Casey, what do you got?
I've got Baker Mayfield.
Going
3-0.
I'm going. See y'all.
See you, Keith.
I got him going 3-0, and he's not turning it over today. He's the only quarterback this year that hasn't turned the ball over yet. Only team is the Buccaneers. So I got him not turning it over. And then the second one is the Eagles and
the Rams and the Bengals.
Oh, Bengals. Sorry, Bengals. Yeah, Rams and Bengals. I would say the Rams. So I got I got both underdogs, I would say, right? I got the Rams and I got the Buccaneers. I think that I would say I'm going with the Rams just because they're not looking horrible this year. They got some players like that you don't know, but they're making
Plays.
like noise. Yeah. And then the other one with Baker Mayfield. I think I said this a long time ago. That team alone didn't lose many players when Tom Brady left.
Right, that's
they
true.
Still got Mike Evans. They still have Godwin.
And that defense isn't as bad as what I think people say either.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I don't think – and the Eagles, if you look at this week, every big favorite, though, has gotten upset except for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So in Baker, I know I ride his dick here, but – I don't
do more than that. You have 3 jerseys of his.
I don't think if we had him with this defense that we have, the Browns this year, who says he can't do what Deshaun Watson's doing?
Well, he has been actually. Look at his numbers. He has.
That's my point. My point. You get him on a team, like I said last week. You get him on a team that kind of has pieces around him, that could, make some plays when it needs to get made. Not do some dumb shit like throw the ball 5 yards backwards when you're gonna get sacked. Like
Casey, when you're at Disney, do people say, Baker, you're supposed to be at Disney after you win the Super Bowl? What are you doing here now?
Yeah, wait till he wins the Super Bowl. Then I'll be hearing it now.
Yeah, I'm sure. I had to throw that one in there.
But I'm telling you though, I think the Eagles are a tough team, but I don't think this year they've been, leaps and bounds ahead of other teams.
I agree with that.
I don't think any team has been. Yeah, any team has been really. The Chiefs this week, yeah, but overall, I don't think any team has been, like I said last week, leaps and bounds ahead. Like, wow, they're making it for sure.
Now you got some bad teams like the Bears and stuff like that, but I don't think the upper echelon, because you look at the Cleveland Browns, for instance. I mean, some people argue they're not elite, but with that defense and with D-Hop kicking field goals, it's hard to beat the Cleveland Browns, especially when Deshaun Watson plays just normal.
Yeah, he plays normal. I don't need him throwing 300 yards. He throws 225,
don't turn it over. Just don't turn it over.
30 rushing yards to get a first down here and there, and then you have that 2 touchdowns, and you got Jerome 4. I'm telling you, if they're just don't do the dumb shit, no flags, and no dumb shit. We're in good spots. What the Browns are known for, dumb shit. So that's the problem.
That is unfortunately the problem. And that is, once again, our We Like Sportz show around the NFL. Yay, we made it. But I wanted to do something before we left because it's one of your favorite things to do.
I don't have any of this week, so hopefully you do.
I do have something. We're doing Timehop 2004, everybody.
Keith's not here, so.
Casey's favorite year. All right, so here's what happened. So obviously we're playing the Ravens this week. And in 2004, the Browns and Jeff Garcia beat the Ravens in the opener, and it was one of our only opening day wins since 99, one of them. We haven't had too many. We had the Baker one where we beat Baker, and the Carolina one, everything. And we had a tie, I believe. But here's the thing against the Steelers. But in that game, the Browns won 20-3. We had a touchdown pass from one receiver. One receiver caught a touchdown pass for the Browns in that game. Can you name that Browns receiver? It was a 46-yard touchdown pass from Jeff Garcia to
Dennis Northcutt.
That is a good guess. But it is not Dennis Northcutt. It's actually the guy that started Bottlegate. Who was the one that started Bottlegate because he couldn't catch the ball. He came from the Big 12.
Keith would be already on this if he was here.
Caught the Hail Mary against Jacksonville to win it with Tim Couch.
You got to keep in mind here, I was 6 years old. So,
a famous drink is Captain Blank.
Quincy Morgan.
Quincy Morgan. Yep, I went Captain Morgan.
I was trying to think. It was Dennis Northcutt, and there was another. I could not think of the other Quincy Morgan. Yep.
Quincy Morgan.
I knew Quincy Morgan. Joe Jaravicious. I guess I would have went.
Joe Jaravicious. Yeah, well, that's the thing with Browns. I mean, they had drafted. It was Kevin Johnson, Dennis Northcutt, and Quincy Morgan. All 3 years in the second round, they had gone. So that was like their 3 guys that they had. So yeah.
So speaking of Joe Jaravicious, I have his autograph because I went to school and I played basketball, football, and baseball with his.
Did you really
nephew?
Go to Ignatius?
No, I didn't go to Ignatius. I went to the St. Thomas More. It was the school that I knew him from.
That's okay.
The other guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I played football with this kid and his uncle, Joe Jaravicious. So I knew who Joe Jaravicious was. But
okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we have Casey on. Like I said, the boy is good looks, but he knows the stars. Casey, you're a star.
The stars.
I appreciate you coming on. You know, obviously, it looks like a beautiful day in Cleveland.
It was. That's it.
Yeah. So, how long you there for a couple more days, or what's your?
Yeah, I'm going. So I wanted to say this. I'm going Wednesday to the Guardians game.
Catch him there. He'll be signing autographs.
Correct. And it is Terry Francona's last game, home game. It is. So they're having a thank you Tito, 20,000 shirts with it on there.
Is that against the Reds?
Yes.
Yes.
Will Benson. And then they have like a video package for Tito, and they sold $11 tickets.
Oh.
I didn't buy $11 tickets because he was here for 11 years.
Because you're big time in it. You probably get your own suite, probably, right?
Oh yeah. That's at the concerts. I went to a Thomas Rhett concert last Saturday in Orlando. I had a club seats for that one.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But yeah, I'm going to the game on Wednesday. I'm going golfing beforehand, and then Thursday I'm going bowling. I bowled last Thursday with Peyton, and I threw a
Who's a better bowler? Who's a better bowler?
I threw a 714 series. I had a 266, a 233, and like a 215.
Damn.
So, and I said I'm going golfing tomorrow or Wednesday. My dad's birthday is tomorrow, so
happy birthday, Mr. Casey.
His name is Ed. So.
Oh, okay. Well, does he know how great his name is? Did you Ed out there?
I've never done that. No, I've never done that.
Let him know two Eds are better than one. I don't know that.
And funny enough, Peyton's dad's name is Ed as well. So what are the odds of that? But so my plans are going up for his birthday tomorrow.
Awesome.
Golf, and then Guardians game Wednesday, saying goodbye to Francona. Thursday going bowling, and then Friday 6 a.m. I am flying back to Orlando.
Okay. MCL or
MCO. Yeah, back to MCO.
That's right. Yeah.
So.
Well,
it always flies by. So
yes. Well, we're always glad to have you back in the land, and happy birthday to your dad. That's awesome. And I just want to say my final thoughts are I'm happy, the Buckeye season gets to go on. November 25th is going to be a big one in Ann Arbor, but I can't wait for that. And obviously, shout out to Tito. I know this, like you said, it's going to be his last game managing the Cleveland Guardians. I want to say thank you. Obviously, getting to the World Series in 2016 with that team, I don't think any other manager could have done what he did, especially what he did with the pitching staff and everything with Andrew Miller. I think that was just outstanding. I wish you nothing but best in your retirement. And Brown season's looking good. We're back on track. Got a great defense, so things are looking up. That's why we like sports, because it's not just about what happens on the field. It's how it makes us feel emotionally, how it ties us together. Like I said, I would have never met you, Casey, if it wasn't for sports and anything. So you're one of my great pals, and I want to thank you for coming on. And I want to thank our audience. And Casey, like I said, I think you did an eloquent job explaining what your final thoughts were, because I would love to go golfing. I would love to go bowling, and I'd love to go to the Guardians game. So shout out to you and everybody. And hey, join us next week, Monday at 5:30. Well, guess what? We'll do it all again. We'll go around the NFL, and we'll have more great sports stories and personal things to talk about. So everybody have a great time, a great week. We like sports. We like you. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Throw it up, Casey. Throw it up.
Okay, I quick enough.
You